I think every day was a good day. I didn't really have many bad days. I mean, sometimes a tree branch came down during a storm and I had to tell people we had to go back. I explained things to them instead of just saying, the train will be moving in 10 minutes. We shall be, it's like, they're not going to buy that. I used to fill out pads, with saying, okay, delay of service. Sorry, you're going to be late. This is around 8:16. And so I'll just try to do whatever I can to make them say, hey, I understand CTA made you late. So here's an excuse card so you can tell your boss that it wasn't. Remember Data on Star Trek The Next Generation? He was an android. And coming from a divorced home, I was almost like that because I couldn't talk to people. I couldn't show love. I mean, I didn't come from a hug family or a kissing family. I know I'm not a child anymore, but a child sometimes want to know if I'm lovable or I'm capable of loving. But you can't force people to love you, and you have to. I mean, I think that's why I was talking on the trains, because it was my way of saying hello to people. It's like an entertainer. They live for the applause, but when they go home, the applause is over with. So I always liked trains. The L train was by my grandmother's place on Langley by Cottage Grove. I used to want that train at the Museum of Science and Industry. I could spend all day looking at that. But now they got HO, but it was a better one when it was big. Someone said that you can be a conductor on CTA. So my grandmother prayed for me to get the job. And I said, well, if I get the job, I'll try to brighten people up. So everybody that rode my train knew my voice. I give it personality instead of these pre-programmed announcements. There's a bunch of guys, not just me, that said announcements in a certain way before this automated stuff happened. But I felt like an announcer, for the public. So I just ad-libbed and put my little stamp on everything. It's just a gift. They save money by getting rid of the conductors and foot collectors. The motorman is focused straight ahead. He can't see behind him what's going on in car B or C. We had a bunch of characters. We had people that cared, and I think that's the thing that is missing. Yeah, I'm a little hamish. I just ad-lib. I just don't rehearse it. I was a little radical in the beginning, and I couldn't say God bless you. I got suspended a day for saying that. So I came up with the idea of may the force be with you. So the force was a little bit way of saying it without really saying it. Sometimes I would tell the weather, the sports. Sometimes it was something that was simple. Sometimes I just did little quotes like, do the best you can today, and people seemed to like it. It was unusual because most people are not very pleasant, especially in the morning or when it gets really cold. I just think I just related to people saying, hey, it's going to be okay. I'm not smoking anything. I take my happy pill every day, so I try to stay positive. Sometimes when the coffee goes, I crashed. My wife, she heard my announcements on the train before she met me. I think she went to Luke College at the time. She was lovely. I mean, she always wore dresses and stuff. So I noticed her when I got on the trains. I pulled into State and Lake and she came on the train and I was like a spotter, I guess, to see her down below. So she was saying, well, why the train's late? And I said, I just work here, Hard time is always a Wisconsin girl. Kindness and love. I mean, that's like Mr. Rogers when he's on the television. He just said, I love you and I'm glad to meet you. And that's how you should greet people, So it's old school, but it's something that I've learned that people gravitate to. I do it now with my crossing guard now. I wave the cars, wave the people. I got cards and letters from people saying, you really make my day. So it makes me happy to make others happy. It feels like it was just yesterday I started, but some passenger gave this to me before I retired. It said, hi, Mike, here's a little piece. I hope it goes well in your scrapbook. I didn't know the name who owns the voice, but I knew the voice. It was like getting a lucky lotto ticket to ride the red line with warm voice, a friendly hello, a reminder to make today count. Whatever came through the CTA train speakers was like the fresh air from an opening window. Any train Mike was driving had a special warmth that passengers would take with them to the rest of their day. P.S. In case I don't see you again prior to it, Merry Christmas, best wishes to you and your family. Someone wrote this they drew this for me particularly, and then on the back, they said some kind words. So it said, thank you. I've lived in this city for nearly 7 years, and I have been riding the red line for each and every one of those years. To the best of my memory, I cannot recall any such time that I was happy to do so. That was until you began conducting my rides. I have seen the effect you have on my fellow riders and myself. You are one of the best human beings I have ever known. It makes me humble, makes me feel thankful and grateful that I made a difference to people for bringing us sunshine and smiles. I like where I'm at now. I've been to counseling. I've been talking to people. Some people kind of took me as a mentor. And I have a godfather who's 95 that he is such a positive person. Every day is a holiday. And he says that he didn't grow up hating people. He loved people, even though he lived through the Jim Crow days where blacks weren't welcome or people weren't accepting you as you. So he's been an inspiration to me. I know people that say, oh, it's cold out. I have to get out in the morning and I have to deal with the traffic and life and everything else. So I do anything I can to make it a little bit easier for people to say, hey, you try to make the world a better place. I said, this is not the last train. There's another train behind me. I wouldn't lie to you, so please let the people out. I just sort of like calm people because we'll get through this.
Next week, the show's on holiday, but we'll be back on Christmas Eve with a special double-length episode about a man with a double life. From Superphonic Studios, this is Chicago. Listen every Sunday.